Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just click the link in the show description to support now.
On this episode of the Duke Loves Rasslin podcast, we have the return of a great friend and pro wrestling legend. Check this out.
This is B. Brian Blair, president of the Cauliflower Alley Club, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
That's right, Mr. B. Brian Blair, the Cauliflower Alley Club, and from the world-famous Killer Bees tag team. Man, can't wait to catch up with him again. But before we get to any of that, I want to remind you folks to check out the Panera Bread Unlimited Sip Club. That's right, for only $10.99 per month, you can try the charged lemonades, iced and hot coffees, iced and hot tea, fountain beverages, any size, anytime, once every 2 hours. And get this, as an exclusive subscriber to the Unlimited Sip Club, you also get special perks and rewards to continue to entice you to check out our friends over at Panera Bread. You know, maybe a couple of bucks off of your next bagel in the morning or your next sandwich for the afternoon, you name it, man. I'm telling you right now, go to PaneraBread.com or visit your local Panera Bread. Subscribe to the Unlimited Sip Club and enjoy. All right, now, on to the show.
You're locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
You know, Duke, I'm so excited about the 56th annual CAC Reunion this year, which we're having at the Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Vegas. It was renovated a couple of years ago. They put about $100 million into it. The hotel has been renovated as well in the last couple of years. And we're moving from the Gold Coast Hotel and Casino to the downtown area on Fremont Street, and it's sure to be a great time. It's September 26th through the 28th. We do have some tickets left. One reunion ticket is $150, and that encompasses the entire reunion, from 2 wonderful meals to all the seminars to, I mean, we have so many things going on. You'd have to go to our website at caulifloweralleyclub.org to check everything out.
Well, B. Brian Blair, first and foremost, welcome back, my friend. I got to pinch myself because I remember sitting at home and watching WWF and seeing you and Jumping Jim Brunzell, you know, kicking butt in the ring for so many years and what have you. So that to have you back on Duke Loves Rasslin is always special because you're a person that does the thing that my mom always talks about. And I don't know if you remember, I told you before, my mom is law enforcement officer. In fact, she just retired after 37 years being a police officer.
Wow, God bless her. Absolutely. And,
you know, this little lady from Jamaica, you would never know that she was out there on the streets, and especially her first 10 years, literally, she was out there on the walking beat where you had to be a community officer and really learn your surroundings and understand the people, show them respect so that, you know, you can do your job properly. I bring her up because one of the things she always talks about is treat people the way you want to be treated, you know, the golden rule.
Amen.
And it's funny, B, because every time I talk to you and every time I talk to other people about you, you're a guy that lives by the golden rule. You truly go out of your way to help others, and you treat people with a lot of respect. Even those who may not necessarily always be so good to you, you still find a way to treat everybody with a lot of respect. And I tip my hat to you for that, because that takes a lot of faith, takes a lot of courage, and you're consistent about it. So first and foremost, thank you, B. Brian Blair, for being an example of what a true child of God is supposed to be. You know what I mean? So I appreciate you for that, brother.
Well, I appreciate that comment very much, Duke, because, you know, I really do live by the golden rule, and I truly care about others, sometimes at a fault. My wife will get on me sometimes because I'm helping somebody, or they're calling in the middle of the night, and it just other things happen. And but I'll never turn down a friend in a time of need, and especially if I can help somebody, if it's just a couple words that might make them feel better, or just knowing that if they've got a problem, they can call me, or just raising as much money as I possibly can for the CAC, carrying on Legends Lunch since 1999, where we all gather together. That was started by Jack Briscoe and Gordon Soley and Buddy Colt and myself back in 1999. And we just had our quarterly Legends Lunch on July 29th, and it was just packed. We honored Dusty Rhodes, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time. But I just keep doing things that, I've served in politics, which is, believe me, that's a full contact sport, brother. And, everybody loves you till you get in politics, and half the people hate you for some reason. I don't know why, but just because, you've got a D or an R after your name. And in local politics, it shouldn't be like that. It's just, I guess they consider it a breeding ground for a higher office, but which it is. But, when you're governing locally, you're not talking about abortion or gun rights or things like that. It's more taxes, rates and fees, land use, things like that. Balancing a $5 billion budget. There's a lot to it. In Hillsborough County, Florida, which is one of the largest counties in the world. I mean, in the United States, forgive me. But it's like the 30th largest county in the United States, 1,078 square miles. It's we've got about 1.5 million people here, and Tampa is just growing like a weed. But anyway, I've done a lot of things. Owned Gold's Gyms, started one gym at a time, built several gyms, and sold them when they weren't for sale. That was good. And so I've been blessed, and I just remember, coming from humble beginnings. I don't say this as a greedy thing, but I just wish that, I wish everybody could read my book for free. But unfortunately, you can't do that. It's called Truth Be Told. And you get a lot in the book about not just who B. Brian Blair is, but about life and about wrestling and how wrestling was in the territory days, which, by the way, if I can give a plug to the territories, which will start up on Vice TV first week in October. We filmed the championship wrestling from Florida territory, and you'll see every territory that was where you used to watch Dark Side of the Ring will now be the territories, and I believe they'll go back to Dark Side of the Ring in the next couple seasons. It just depends. You may see both of them next season. But the territories will be very, very interesting. And so in Truth Be Told, you have a lot about people that are interested in what were the territories like, and what's the difference between the territories and, working now for the WWE or AEW or New Japan or wherever you're at. So it's a great book with a lot of fun. And Ian Douglas, by the way, your mom's from Jamaica, and I love Jamaica. And Ian's from the Bahamas, and they're both similar in a way. They're islands, and they both have a bunch of wonderful people. And Ian's a very brilliant guy who he wrote Bugsy McGraw's book with Bugsy. He wrote Hornswogler, is that Hornswogler? One of the small people's books. And Dan Severn, one of the top shooters of all time, wrote Dan Severn's book. So Ian's a great guy, and you can really see his writing qualities in Truth Be Told. And so I just hope that people get a chance to check that out. It's on Amazon, or you can go to the KillerBeeStore.net. Either way, and check it out.
Well, that's a great plug there. Once again, folks, Truth Be Told, BEE, so like a buzzing bee, the killer bees. Truth Be Told, B. Brian Blair and Ian Douglas. And shout out to Ian Douglas. You're absolutely right about that. Ian is a prolific writer, spent a lot of years in media as well, ABC News, NBC. He's been all over the place there. And It's funny you mentioned Dan Severin, another great friend of the show, and shout out to Dan Severin. He's still out there doing his seminars and what have you. It's just really fun. And I know that when we talk about the Cauliflower Alley Club, it really comes out that much more. When we talk about this reunion, you have these stars from yesterday, today, and even tomorrow. You have some young folks who make it a point to come out because folks like yourself, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler, folks who truly spread the gospel of the CAC and make it clear and make it known. This organization really does provide for so many people out there, so many of our heroes who have fallen on hard times for one reason or another. The CAC is always there to step in and to lend an assistance as much as you can, and it's commendable. And correct me if I'm wrong, CAC is unique in the sense that you're the only 501c3 wrestling charity to be able to do this, right?
Yes, we are, Duke. We're the largest charity in the world for wrestling. We help people from all around the world, actually. And people really don't understand the magnitude that the CAC has grown in the last 8 years. I mean, we get calls every day. The only way somebody is ever turned down that really needs help, and Darla Staggs is our benevolent chairman. We have some great people on our board that give tirelessly. Rich Ingling, Ron Hutchison in Canada, and Royal Duncan does our ear. We just have some great people that are, and so many other. I mean, there's so many people that actually help that I couldn't mention them all. But it's not only a labor of love, but it's a group effort. And I tell you, Duke, the hardest thing to do is, I've ran a couple businesses, and running a business where nobody's paid is sometimes the most difficult thing in the world. But sometimes it can be easy as well when everybody sees the labor of their love come to fruition, and you have people call you up and say, golly, I wouldn't have made it. I would have been out on the streets right now if it wasn't for the CAC. It just warms your heart. And it's because of people like you. It's because of all of our members that join the CAC, that are active in the CAC. And it truly is a blessing.
It truly is. And I'm glad you hit the nail right on the head with that. I wonder about something, B, and I'm going to go a little long form in this. The thing about people who spend so much time helping others, there's some theories about that. And one of the things that I've found is that oftentimes those of us who spend time helping others, we are being the type of people that we would hope could be there for us in some way, shape, or form in life. Hopefully if I ever fall down on hard times, if I ever need assistance or somebody that I care about, hopefully there's someone like B. Brian Blair who's going to be there to lend a hand. You know what I mean? One can hope, at least. I'm a guy who spent years doing what's called constituent services. Mm-hmm. So, when you have an elected official, and you know this better than anybody, when you have an elected official, a lot of times they'll hire somebody like myself to go out into the community and figure out what the needs are of the community, and then go back to the government entity and go to work. You know what I mean? Literally do what needs to be done in order to deliver on these needs for the community. So if your street light is out, or somebody's being discriminated against at work, or we need a new food pantry put in the community, whatever. It's a person who's able to deliver on behalf of the government for the people, constituent services. There's a lot of trauma work involved in that line of work as well, because unfortunately, if there's a tragedy in the community, we got to respond to that as well. I've seen a lot of crazy things in life, both professionally and personally, seen it all. And it's heavy, man. It's a lot, but you got to do what you got to do to keep your head on straight. You get up every day and you do what you have to do to help others, because that's what we're here to do. I want to talk to you about where you are right now, because, as we record this on the 9th of August, 2022, I believe that today is actually an anniversary of a very serious and traumatic situation that has occurred, has affected your family, and not a lot of people know this about you. And it's really interesting because, again, you're the guy in pro wrestling, I would say more than anybody else, because you are the president of the CAC. You're the guy that people turn to because they're going through tough times in life. Meanwhile, B. Brian Blair and his family have been going through one of the most traumatic experiences that any family could go through. What is the anniversary, if you don't mind opening up about this, and really, how are you doing?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Duke. I have good times and not so good times. It's been 1 year since we had the funeral services for our son Bret. Unfortunately, people took him to another county and buried him in a construction site, and he was there for several days, and so we couldn't even have a proper funeral. But Bret was so full of love, and he's just missed so bad. I just hope that during the upcoming trials that people are held accountable. I don't wish ill to anybody, but I certainly hope that people can be reformed, and that this kind of thing doesn't happen to anybody else by these kind of people. And it is difficult. Fortunately, Steve Kern and Hulk Hogan, two of my closest friends in the whole world, I talk to them regularly, and they have been there for me. So everybody needs somebody. We all need somebody, because everybody has challenges, Duke. Everybody, and it's like the guy that was complaining about his shoes until he looked over and saw the guy with no feet, and people have it worse off than my family and I. And believe me, we're struggling right now emotionally. I don't think there's been a day since Bret left us that I haven't cried. And, but I still know that he would want me to, move forward and never forget him, which I never will. And just do the best I can every single day. And that's, my wife, Tony, she has to, she was the mother that gave birth to him. And that's, who I worry about the most. And of course, my mom lives in my guest house, and her and Bret were tighter than peanut butter and jelly. And his brother, Bradley, fortunately, Bradley's doing very well. And but we all miss Bret every single day. And I do appreciate you bringing that up, because I never want my son's spirit to die. And I believe that, life is fast, it's passing by quick. And there's an old Beatles song that says, in the end, the love that we take is equal to the love that we make. And it kind of goes along with the principles of theology. And, my faith is extremely strong. If it wasn't for my faith, especially in my family and my friends like you, and the good people, lots of great fans have brought me a lot of comfort, and my family a lot of comfort. And even though this has not been publicized, which, we've tried to keep it on the down low as much as possible, and I will have to give it to credit to the local media for that. They have respected family wishes, and so we've kept everything very low key. And it's just something we'll persevere, and we'll go through these trials, upcoming trials, each day, and just hope that the best things happen. And we know we won't see our son again. We won't see Bret again for some time, but I just hope that everybody can in this world would start getting along better, and quit letting the powers that be divide us. Start thinking about just like the golden rule we talked about, love your neighbor as if you would yourself, and treat your neighbor as if you would want to be treated. So if we kind of govern our lives by these principles, and then good will surely overcome evil, and we can all have fun doing it in the same time by listening to great podcasts like Duke Loves Rasslin.
You know, B, my heart goes out to you and the entire family, because your story is not an uncommon story, unfortunately. And I'll tell you what really breaks my heart. And forgive me for bringing this up and saying it this way, but I have to do it. It breaks my heart that people go out of their way to speak negatively about others when they don't know the true story, they don't know the full facts, but because they want to have these I gotcha moments and they want to tear people down, they'll put out nonsense. And unfortunately, there's so many gullible people who won't check the facts and won't do their research. So they actually will say, oh, yeah, that must be what's going on here. So even in the case of B. Brian Blair, you have some humanoids out there that will look at you and say, oh, yeah, he's a bad guy. And it's like, whoa, here's a family struggling with the challenge of addiction. One of their family members had that monkey on their back, and there's not a family in this world who can't relate to that. I've seen it with alcoholism in my family. There's not a family in this world who can't relate to that. Unfortunately, you had a family member who was dealing with that, and you know, things happen in those moments as you try to get this family member help and what have you. And we don't have to get into all of that, but here's my point. For people to speak negatively about you and your family in any way, when we know damn well addiction is a disease, it's a serious issue that a lot of people are struggling with constantly, and their families try to help them as much as they can, but unfortunately we can't always help everybody. There's got to be a lot more grace out there, ladies and gentlemen. There's got to be a lot more grace out there, because you know damn well in your own family, when you try to help somebody as much as you can, and unfortunately you're just not able to, you know that it doesn't always look pretty. Why should you be painted as a bad guy for doing everything that you can to help your loved ones? That's crazy to me. So again, I don't want to get too specific there, B, unless you want to, but I just want to make sure I put that on the record as a friend, and just say, people got to give this man a hell of a lot more grace, and that family a hell of a lot more grace, because what they were going through is a challenge that you know damn well, everybody, we all can relate to.
Yeah, you know, you said a mouthful, Duke, when you talked about the keyboard warriors that love to jump on the I gotcha kind of scenario, and people that derive pleasure from causing others pain. And I never have understood that concept. I mean, how could you derive pleasure from causing others pain unless you were truly the devil's child? I mean, there's too many good people in this world for evil to overcome us, and we need to start talking about this more, because when people do jump on the bandwagon before they have the facts, before they know anything, it's like in 2009, I went to jail, and I went to jail because I didn't want them to arrest my son, not because I hit him. I got hit. And it was a time when he kept my younger son out till 4 o'clock in the morning, and the door knocks at 4 o'clock in the morning for the second time in 2 weeks. And it's my older son with my younger son, you know, because we locked the door that they escaped out of, and they had to knock on the front door. And here they come to the front door, and you're not going to answer that front door. Or at least I'm not, as a dad that understands that, you give an ounce, you give 2 ounces of love, but you got to give that ounce of discipline with that love. And I'm not going to give my son a high five when he brings my younger son in at 4 o'clock in the morning. So certainly I had some words for him, and he didn't like it, and it was a bad time for him. And again, kid's so full of love that he's only tried to help people all of his life. And unfortunately, Bret got caught up into some addictions that sprung from 6 kidney operations when he was 17 years old. He had just pitched in the Nationals, and I never forget when he told me that he was excited about having his last kidney operation. And I said, "You're excited about having an operation?" This is right after we finally lost in the Nationals, and he ran out of innings, and we were ahead. And he said, "Yeah, Dad, I'm excited about the operation because they give me this pump, and I just press it, and it makes me feel so good." And my heart dropped when he told me that. I started thinking about one of my best friends, Ray Hernandez, about so many of the guys in the business that I love that succumbed to drug usage. And, it hurt when he said that. And, sure enough, he got addicted to pain pills, and he had a struggle with them. And then finally he swore off of those, never touched them. Rehab did wonders at one point, and then all of a sudden he takes up meth, decides that this girl turned him on to some meth, and sure enough he started using meth. Well, one of the people that decided they were devil worshippers, and Bret had Christian tattoos on him, from Isaiah to John and other religious symbols, and they believe it was a hate crime, which will all come out in the laundry. And they believe that he decided to do some meth with a girl, and somebody, whether it was the girl or someone else, brought them back what's killing so many people, fentanyl. It's just running across the southern border like a sieve, unchecked. And Bret succumbed to an overdose from the fentanyl, which he had no idea that he was doing. And it's just a shame, and it's happened to. I just saw a gentleman on television today who lost his son, who got a pill on one of the social media sites, and it turned out to be fentanyl. They're all fake pills. Any of your listeners that think they can get a legitimate pill off the internet, you cannot. They're all fake, and you're probably going to die if you take one, because if it gets you high, you're going to get high to the point where you're not going to wake up, because they're all laced with fentanyl. And it's a shame. And, people jumping to conclusions, writing articles and things like that should be ashamed of themselves until they understand what's actually happening in a family's life.
B. Brian Blair, I appreciate you opening up about that. I know that it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. And again, you're the guy that people go to for assistance when they're going through these tough times and when they're experiencing different types of trauma. So the fact that you're able to be so much to so many people, despite the fact that you have your own thing going on, it's tremendous. It truly is. And I commend you and your family, and God bless you all for sure. Folks, as you listen to this, literally right after B. Brian said what he just said, telling the story of his son, Bret, a thunderstorm happened here in Boston. And at the same time, a thunderstorm was happening where B. Brian is down in Tampa. And it actually, in both instances, because it was lightning and everything, it knocked out both of our internet connections. So we both had to reset at the same exact time. It was really interesting and freaky there. It's almost like God was speaking to us. And that was such a heavy tale and story, and B. Brian opening up and unpacking what he and his family are going through. It was a lot. It was a lot, especially on the anniversary. It was a lot. So that was a good time to stop for now, and certainly that's what we did. So as you hear this right now, this portion of the episode, we're picking up 2 days later. you know? So with that in mind, let's bring it back to the CAC reunion. B. Brian Blair, the Killer Bee, author, elected official, the whole 9 yards there, president of CAC. Let everybody know. Let's go a little deeper on this, and we'll bring it home on this point here. What specifically can folks expect at the 2022 Cauliflower Alley Club reunion?
One thing we have, Duke, is some tremendous honorees this year. We have Jerry Lawler, who's going to get the first ever President's Award. And that's an award that I've been able to give out for the last 8 years since I've been the president of the Cauliflower Alley Club. And I just really haven't found anybody that really fit the bill. And until really everything came full circle with Jerry Lawler. And we'll explain that as we go, because he's been quite the philanthropist, and he's a guy that everybody knows. We've all had stones thrown at us, but Jerry's really a great guy, got a lot of integrity, and super guy. Another guy, the Iron Mike Award, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. Everybody loves JBL, man. He's a super guy, and he'll be receiving the Iron Mike Award, one of our top awards as well. We have, from WWF, NWA, Women's Wrestling Award, Jacqueline, Jacqueline, you remember Jacqueline, Jackie Moore. And Men's Wrestling Awards, we have 2, Kevin Sullivan and Tommy Wildfire Rich. Actually have a Memphis Mania Tuesday night, where we'll actually give out the President's Award on Tuesday night, and we'll also see Tommy Wildfire Rich. We've got so many people coming in, Jeff and Jerry Jarrett, to honor Teenie, who was one of the matriarchs of Memphis wrestling. So that's going to be real exciting. Brendan Martin, who wrote the book called Teenie, will also be there for that award. And the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, they had a tremendous run in Memphis. The Memphis Mania Tuesday night is going to be awesome. Then again on Wednesday, as I mentioned, John Bradshaw Layfield, JBL. We've got Kevin Sullivan on that. We also have the Lucha Libre Award, and the winner of that award this year is Charles Ashnoff, who we all know as Conan. Wonderful guy. We have a Courage Award that we don't mention the name, but that's an award that we give out also on Wednesday night. The James C. Melby Award will be given out on Tuesday night, because every historian needs to know about Memphis. And so Steve Johnson will win the James C. Melby Award, and the referee award goes to Billy Silverman this year, the Charlie Smith referee award. So we've got an exciting slate of honorees. We've got our MCs, John Arizzi and Medusa, will be rocking the house, and rumor has it, it's not etched in stone yet, that Jimmy the Mouth of the South Hart will be there also. So, and you never know who's going to be at a CAC reunion. I tell you, once you go, Duke, it's addicting, is what it is. It's very addicting. And I hope that people can make it this year. They can just go to caulifloweralleyclub.org and check it out. You have to be a member, though, and you can join the CAC for $25. And those rates are getting ready to go up, $25 for a year or $300 for a lifetime membership. And again, those memberships are going up soon. And I hope that your listeners will consider becoming a member of the CAC, because every dollar that we make goes to helping wrestlers, and not just wrestlers, people that made a full-time, doesn't matter, but people that made a full-time living in the wrestling industry for 3 years or longer. We actually help everyone that, falls on a bad bad time. We don't help people with drug situations or alcohol situations. But other than that, we're right there. We've saved people's houses, paid medical bills, got people cancer treatments. The Cauliflower Alley Club has done so many wonderful things, and it's because of its members. It's because of people like you, Duke, where Duke Loves Rasslin has advertised the CAC for many years and promoted the CAC because it's a group effort. It's everybody helping everybody because we all love wrestling.
If you are a content creator and you want a great program that provides studio quality sound, especially when you're doing interviews, then I encourage you to check out Zencastr. That's right, Zencastr. It is my absolute favorite program to record with. I encourage everyone to check it out, okay? Visit Zencastr.com for more information. Enjoy.
This is WWE Hall of Famer JBL, and you are listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
Be kind to yourselves and be kind to others. Take it away, Tony Schiavone.
This is Tony Schiavone, and we're desperately out of time on Duke Loves Rasslin.